So years and years ago, when I was in the oil field, I was an engineer in the oil field. All right, and I had a side business where I was making $1,000 a day, doing scrap metal stuff. So like the pipe they would send down in the earth, they would blow it up, and it was just scrap metal at that point. But a lot of people didn't know how to dispose of it. I did. I figured it out early on. That's how I ended up getting in the oil field. But anyways, that's another story. I was selling this scrap metal for $1,000 a trailer a day, which hindsight, I should have scaled that company, but I was young and didn't even realize it was a company. Just thought it was something that made me money. It sounds stupid, but it is what it is. Anyways, on that venture, I stumbled across some restaurants because I was in the scrap business. So I was like kind of in the garbage business, right? I stumbled across some companies, restaurants in particular, that needed to get rid of like vegetable oil, like used vegetable oil. All right. And what other companies were doing with it, like, I don't know if you would call them environmental companies or whatever, but they were turning it into biodiesel. I stumbled across a bunch of restaurants that were needing this disposed of. So I started calling around blindly, and I'm like, hey, like, you need this disposed of, I can do it. And I was getting some cool, let's meet ups, right? And I'm like, all right, cool. And like, flash forward my older self now, that is a big industry. I just didn't know at the time. I was just trying to solve a problem, right? Well, some PI showed up, private investigators showed up at my job. And mind you, I'm young, I'm an engineer now. I was in trouble as an adolescent, right? Like, in and out of a lot of trouble, all right? And last thing I wanted was any more trouble. I had spent years getting my life back on track, right? Because I was just a hoodlum when I was younger. And so, like, this PI shows up, and they're in my manager's office. Like, Travis, I need to talk to you. Have you been stealing vegetable oil from restaurants? And I'm like, no, I've never stolen a thing, like anything, you know? And this PI is like, well, we heard you've been calling around to a lot of our customers, and just so happens some of their totes, or they were like barrels or whatever of vegetable oil. They look like, I don't remember what they look like, but anyways, they'd been going missing. And I'm like, no, like, I just thought it was a good opportunity because, you know, I saw and heard that they needed this disposed of. So somebody's not doing a good job, or there's not enough service or something. But I was going to buy a truck and start disposing of it, right? And they're like, well, we're going to be keeping an eye on you and all this. I'm like, where did y'all even come up with me doing this? You know, and I'm shook, right? I'm like, dude, I've already, like, been in so much trouble in my life. I am finally, like, I got this good job. I've worked my way up, like, tooth and nail, just, you don't even know. It was rough getting to that spot where I was at. And I'm like, well, I'll just stop my venture, you know? Like, I didn't do anything. They're like, well, we don't want you calling our customers. We don't want you this and that. And now, knowing what I know, it was like a scare tactic, right? So now that you understand that story, is I want you to understand, this isn't like me saying that company did whatever, or I should have done this or that. No, it's a lesson to learn. Everything, every trial, tribulation, anything is a lesson to learn from. And my biggest lesson I learned from that is not to make decisions in a place of fear, right? In a state of fear, rather. Like, if you make a decision, make a decision. Stick with your decision. Know why you're doing it. Believe it. Do it. It's your decision. Live with it. Own it. But don't make it out of fear. I made that decision purely out of fear. I love where my life is now, right? Things happen for a reason. But I made that decision purely out of fear of getting in more trouble. And, you know, they exposed that fear, and they leaned in because they saw that I didn't want to get in any more trouble, you know? And I didn't. I didn't want any trouble. I had passed that point in my life. I'm like, I don't want any part of this. Y'all go ahead. And I just quit. I stopped. I didn't pursue it, you know, and it is what it is. But now, these days, like, I take on properties that a lot of people wouldn't, like broke down ass mobile homes, like stuff with title issues, mobile homes with title issues, parks, like the unknown, right? And that lesson, I guess, molded who I am today. Every lesson molds who we are, but I will never, ever, ever make another decision knowingly, cognizantly, out of fear. And I hope you don't either. So if there's something you really want to do, ask yourself, am I not doing it because I'm afraid? If you're not doing it for other reasons, cool. And it's cool even if you are afraid and that's not why you're doing it. I just want to bring this to light because it does happen. It did happen to me, and I learned from it. And I hope that you can learn from it. My name's Travis Wells. This is the Property Profits Podcast. Thank you so much for jumping on. Please refer a friend, a family member. It would mean the world if you subscribe to this channel, this podcast, wherever you're listening to. Leave an honest review. All right? Thank y'all so much. Until next time, see you then.